The invitation. The message came to Earth on a silver wave of light. It was not like any normal communication. It was a beacon, shining across the stars. It carried one promise, one word that echoed again and again: peace. For centuries, humanity had fought wars both on their own planet and beyond the sky. They were known across the galaxy as stubborn and unyielding, never bowing to stronger empires, never accepting chains. Now the Galactic Council was calling for peace talks. It sounded like history was changing. In the great chamber of Earth's leadership, men and women sat around a polished steel table, their eyes reflecting the glowing message. Some looked hopeful, others suspicious. The president of Earth's alliance leaned forward and asked in a calm voice, "Why now? After all these years of silence, why do they call us only when we stand strong?" His words carried the suspicion that was in every human heart. The Council of Generals exchanged glances. They knew the galaxy feared humans, not for their numbers, not for their technology, but for their will. Humans had a habit of surviving what others could not. They had a habit of turning traps into victories. General Marcus, an old soldier with scars across his face, spoke with a low growl. "Sir, peace is a beautiful word, but it can also be a mask. If they call us unarmed, it means they want us weak. And weak is something we will never be." His words fell heavy in the room. The president nodded slowly. She understood the danger, yet she also saw the opportunity. The galaxy was watching. Refusing the peace invitation might make Earth look hostile. Accepting it blindly might bring disaster, so she gave her order. "We will attend, but we will not go empty-handed." That single decision set the path of the story. The next weeks were filled with preparation. The human delegation was selected, diplomats with calm voices, soldiers with steady eyes, and leaders with unshakable will. Their mission was to show that humanity respected peace, but feared nothing. The alien message had described the meeting place, a grand station orbiting a dying star once built as a neutral ground for ancient treaties. It was now revived for this one moment. The Council promised safety, promised fairness, promised that no weapons were needed. But humanity knew better. In secret chambers beneath Earth's capital, engineers worked day and night, building weapons that looked like ornaments, rifles disguised as walking sticks, pistols hidden inside ceremonial books, blades folded into the edges of treaty documents. Every diplomat was also a soldier. Every handshake could turn into a strike. On the night before departure, the human delegation gathered in silence. No words, only the weight of what was to come. General Marcus stood before them, his voice steady. "Remember this, they smile with their mouths, but not with their eyes. If this is truly peace, then we will return safe. If it is not, then we will make sure the galaxy never forgets what happens when you try to trap humanity." The starship chosen for the journey was not the largest, but it was armed beneath its surface. Hidden cannons tucked into its wings, armor painted to look ceremonial but strong enough to withstand blasts. The aliens would see a diplomatic vessel, but in truth, it was a fortress dressed in silk. When the engines roared to life, the people of Earth gathered to watch. Millions of eyes followed the ship as it rose into the sky. Some prayed for peace, some whispered fears of war. All knew that history balanced on a blade. As the ship crossed the void of space, the crew felt the weight of silence. Every star seemed to watch. Every shadow whispered danger. Even the diplomats, trained to keep calm, felt unease crawling in their veins. Peace was a fragile thing, and in the galaxy, fragility often broke. Hours turned to days. The dying star finally appeared ahead, red and swollen, its light falling on the massive alien station. It glowed like a jewel in the dark. Banners of different species lined its walls, thousands of windows watching, thousands of eyes waiting. Inside the ship, the human commander looked through the viewport, his voice cold but clear. "We walk into their house, but we carry our own fire. Remember that?" The crew nodded, hands brushing the hidden weapons strapped beneath their ceremonial robes. The ship docked with the alien station, a hiss of air, a metallic clank. Doors slowly opened. Beyond them stood alien figures draped in robes of gold, their smiles stretched too wide, their words too sweet. "Welcome, humans. To the dawn of peace, they said in unison, their voices echoing in the chamber. But behind those smiles and the shimmer of alien eyes, humanity saw something else. Something sharp. Something waiting. And as the humans stepped forward into the grand hall, weapons hidden yet ready, a thought burned in every heart. Peace was the word on their lips, but survival was the truth in their hands. The arrival. The docking bay of the alien station stretched wider than any human cathedral. Its walls shone with silver and crystal. Light poured in like flowing rivers. Everything was made to look peaceful, yet too perfect, too clean, like a stage waiting for a play. As the human delegation walked down the ramp, they could feel hundreds of alien eyes watching from balconies above. Species of all shapes and colors leaned over railings, whispering in languages that sounded like wind, fire, and stone. Their voices were soft, but the humans could feel the weight of judgment in every sound at the front. Alien dignitaries stood in a line, robes of gold and silver dragging across the floor, their hands held high in a gesture of welcome. Smiles spread across their faces, but their eyes betrayed something else, something sharp. "Welcome, representatives of Earth. Welcome to peace," the alien speaker said, his voice smooth like oil. The human commander bowed his head politely, his own smile carefully carved. "We thank the Council for this invitation," he said, but his eyes moved to the side, catching the gleam of alien guards standing too still, too ready. General Marcus, walking a step behind, whispered without moving his lips, "They have more soldiers than we expected. Every shadow hides a rifle." The words sank into the ears of his comrades, but no human face changed expression. They kept their calm masks on. The delegation was led through corridors of glass, strange alien art glowing on the walls. Some of the images looked like peace, but others showed broken chains, battles, and symbols of conquest. The humans walked past them silently, noting every detail, every shadow, every guard who watched too closely. When they reached the grand hall, the humans finally saw where the treaty would be signed, a chamber carved like a throne room. The ceiling stretched high, banners of the galaxy's great empires hanging down, each one a reminder of how small Earth was meant to look. At the center stood a long table of white stone, papers set upon it, glowing with alien script, the peace treaty, waiting for human signatures. But something felt wrong. The human translator, a young woman with sharp eyes, leaned toward the commander and whispered, "The script is strange. There are hidden markings under the words, almost invisible, but I can see them. They say surrender, obedience, eternal service, not peace." Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned with truth. The commander gave no reply, his face calm. His hands folded, only his eyes flickered with steel. He gave the faintest nod, and his soldiers tightened their grip on the hidden weapons beneath their ceremonial sleeves. The alien host raised his hands high, his voice echoing, "At last, the galaxy will know peace. At last, war will be buried. Humanity will take its rightful place among us." The chamber filled with applause, alien hands clapping, alien voices cheering. But behind the sound was a current of tension, like a storm waiting to break. General Marcus's eyes scanned the crowd. He saw movement, a door sliding quietly in the shadows. Alien soldiers slipping inside with rifles in hand, their faces hard, their bodies tense. Not guards for protection, but hunters preparing for prey. The human commander's voice was calm, almost too calm, as he spoke to the aliens. "We are honored to be here. But before we begin, humanity has a tradition. We drink together before signing peace, a symbol of trust." The aliens froze for a moment, their smiles flickering. They had not expected this. Still, the host nodded, trying to hide his annoyance. Of course. A drink of unity." Human aides moved forward carrying ceremonial flasks. Inside them not only wine but also carefully hidden capsules, small enough to trigger weapons if needed. The aliens thought it was only ritual, but it was much more. As the flasks were raised, the humans' eyes met. Silent understanding passed between them. This was no peace table. This was a battlefield painted with silk and gold. The alien leader raised his cup, his smile too wide. "To peace," he said. but his eyes glowed. With hunger, the human commander raised his own, voice steady, to survival. In that moment, the hall fell silent. Thousands of alien eyes turned to the humans, tension heavy in the air. Behind the curtains, weapons hummed softly. Soldiers hidden in the shadows shifted their stances. The trap was ready to be sprung. But what the aliens did not know, what they could not see, was that humanity had come prepared beneath robes and papers, beneath smiles and handshakes. Earth carried fire, and the humans were waiting for the moment when peace would shatter and survival would roar. The false promises, the grand hall filled with echoes of alien voices, every corner alive with chants of peace. Yet every human ear heard something darker behind the sound. The alien leader stood tall, his robe glittering with gems from dying suns. His voice carried across the chamber. Today marks the end of war. Today humanity joins us as brothers and sisters. Together we will build a galaxy without fear. The words rang sweet, almost too sweet, but the human translator's sharp ears caught the whispers hidden beneath. Alien aides passing signals with their hands, coded movements in their robes. She leaned close to the commander and whispered, "They say another word, not peace. They say enslavement. They hide it inside their speech." The commander's jaw tightened, his smile never fading. He knew what this meant. The treaty was not an offering. It was a cage. General Marcus shifted slightly, his hand brushing against the hidden weapon inside his ceremonial sleeve. "They want us weak, but they forget we never come weak," he whispered, his eyes scanning the shadows. The alien leader motioned toward the glowing treaty, its words dancing in alien script across the surface of the white stone. "Sign this, and war will be no more. Sign this, and Earth will never fear again." The humans stepped closer, their eyes moving over the glowing letters. The translator's voice was low. "The hidden lines grow stronger. It is a trap written in light. Once signed, it will bind us. It will declare humanity as property of the Council." Still, the commander showed no anger, no panic. He only nodded as if in agreement. His eyes calm, his smile sharp as a blade. An alien guard approached slowly, bowing too low, his voice slippery. "There is no need for your weapons here, for peace needs no fire." His eyes searched their robes as if trying to pierce through the disguise, but he found nothing, only calm faces and folded hands. The human commander raised his hand, his voice steady. "We came in good faith, but humans have a saying, trust is earned, not demanded." The words echoed across the chamber. Some aliens frowned, others laughed nervously, but behind their smiles was irritation. The alien leader raised his arms again, his voice louder now. "Sign, and you will gain protection, wealth, and power. Refuse, and you will stand alone against the galaxy." His words dripped with threat, though wrapped in silk. General Marcus leaned closer to the commander. "They grow desperate. They want us bound. They want us disarmed. Their patience is thin." The commander gave the smallest nod, then turned to the aliens, his voice calm yet strong. "We will read every word of this treaty before we sign. That is our way." The aliens froze for a breath, their smiles faltering. The leader forced a laugh. Of course, nothing to hide." But the humans could see the flicker in his eyes, the fear that his trap was being seen. In the balcony above, more alien soldiers appeared, their weapons hidden behind banners, their eyes scanning every human, waiting for the moment to strike. The translator's heart raced. She whispered, "They prepare the ambush." The word strike is repeated again and again in their hidden speech. The commander breathed deeply, his voice low. "Then let them think us blind, let them think us fooled, for the more they believe in their lie, the greater their shock will be when truth arrives." The humans returned their gaze to the treaty, pretending to study the words, their hands resting gently on the table, but beneath their sleeves, beneath their robes, their fingers were wrapped around weapons, cold steel and hidden fire. The alien leader's smile returned, too wide, too sharp. "Good, humanity understands. Soon we will all live as one." His eyes gleamed, not with unity, but with victory he thought already his. But in the calm eyes of the humans, in the steady breaths of the soldiers, there was a silent fire. They were not prey. They were not fooled. They were waiting. waiting for the false promises to reveal their true shape. And when that moment came, humanity would answer not with ink, but with fire. The ambush. The hall grew heavy with silence, the kind of silence that comes before a storm. Banners swayed lightly above. Alien soldiers shifted in shadows, their fingers brushing weapons they thought were unseen. The alien leader's smile stretched thin, his voice calm but sharp. Sign now, and peace will belong to all of us. Sign now, and Earth will never walk in fear again. His words rose like honey, but his eyes glowed with hunger. The human commander stepped forward, his hand resting near the treaty. For a heartbeat it looked as if he might sign. The aliens leaned closer, anticipation burning in their faces. Then it happened. A sharp click echoed from above, a balcony door sliding open. Alien soldiers marched out, rifles glowing with blue fire. The banners fell aside, revealing rows upon rows of armed warriors. Their weapons aimed straight at the human delegation. Gasps filled the chamber, but not from humans, from the alien spectators who had believed this was truly peace. Their eyes widened in horror as the truth spread across the hall. The alien leader dropped his mask of kindness. His voice turned to steel. Earth, you were foolish to trust. Peace is not given, it is taken. Today you will kneel or you will die. Alien guards closed in from all sides, the circle tightening, energy rifles humming, ready to release fire. But the humans did not kneel. They did not panic. Their faces remained calm, their hands steady. General Marcus's voice was low, almost a growl. Now! In one breath, the hall erupted. The humans drew their hidden weapons in perfect unison. Ceremonial staffs snapped open into rifles, ornamental books unfolded into pistols, treaty scrolls cracked apart, revealing blades of steel. In the blink of an eye, the calm diplomats transformed into warriors. The first alien fired, a beam of light ripping through the air, but the human commander was faster. His weapon roared, a hidden slug thrower punching through armor. The alien soldier collapsed. The hall shook with thunder. Chaos exploded. Alien soldiers screamed, firing wildly, but humans moved like shadows, precise, controlled. Every shot counted, every strike exact. The translator, once silent, pulled a dagger from her sleeve. Its blade shimmered. She spun past an alien guard and struck his throat, her small frame belying the fury in her movements. General Marcus fired, his rifle in bursts, his voice echoing through the hall. You thought us blind, but we see. You thought us weak, but we endure. Every shot was a sentence. Every alien who fell was a broken promise. The alien leader's face twisted with shock and rage. Impossible, you came to a peace table. How could you? But his words were cut short as a human pistol's barrel was leveled toward him, the commander's cold eyes staring into his. We came for peace, but we carried survival, the commander said, pulling the trigger. The leader fell, silence following the crack of the shot. But the battle was not over. Alien reinforcements stormed in, energy beams tearing through the air. The station walls shook, the audience scattered in terror, screaming, running for safety. Yet the humans did not break. They moved together, covering each other, their weapons roaring, their training showing. One alien soldier, twice the size of a man, swung a massive blade, but a human ducked low, firing. Up into the creature's chest it fell with a thunderous crash. The hall was no longer a treaty chamber. It had become a battlefield, a place where lies burned and truth was written in blood and fire. Alien eyes widened in fear. Whispers spread even in the middle of chaos. The humans were ready. The humans knew the humans cannot be fooled. The commander raised his rifle high, his voice cutting through the storm. This is your peace, your trap, your betrayal, but we are not prey, we are humanity, and we never walk unarmed into your lies. The words struck harder than any bullet, even as fire raged, even as the hall, filled with smoke and cries. For the first time, the Galactic Council felt fear. The trap had been sprung, but it was the hunters who now trembled. The counterattack. The grand hall was drowning in chaos. Smoke twisted in the air. Fire spilled across the floor from shattered lamps. Alien banners burned like falling stars. The trap had sprung, but the prey had become predators. Alien soldiers rushed from every doorway, their rifles glowing with deadly blue light. But the humans were faster. smaller in number, yet their every move was sharp, calculated, unstoppable. General Marcus barked orders through the storm, his voice cutting through the gunfire. Form the line, cover the flanks, no one falls. His soldiers obeyed without hesitation. Sliding into positions, rifles raised, blades drawn, their training turning into living instinct. The aliens unleashed a flood of fire, beams crackling through the air. But the humans did not scatter. They shifted, ducked, rolled, their weapons, answering with brutal precision. Each human shot tore through alien armor. Each strike hit where it mattered most. One alien captain charged forward, towering over the humans, his body armored in gold plates, his roar shaking the chamber. But a human diplomat, the very man who had bowed moments ago, threw aside his robe, revealing a compact rocket launcher hidden in ceremonial casing. He fired. The rocket slammed into the alien captain's chest, and the giant fell like a mountain. Gasps echoed from the balconies above. Alien spectators clutched the rails, their voices trembling. The humans were ready. The humans knew. The humans fight like no other. The alien leaders' advisors shouted in panic, calling for reinforcements, but even as more troops stormed in, the humans held the hall like it was theirs. Every inch fought for, every corner turned into a fortress. The translator fought beside the soldiers, her blade flashing, her voice fierce. You promised peace but carved lies, now taste the truth you feared. She struck down another alien, her small frame moving like lightning. The commander advanced step by step, his rifle spitting fire, his eyes locked not on the soldiers but on the throne at the far end of the hall, the symbol of the council's power. Every move he made was a message. Humanity would not kneel. Humanity would not break. General Marcus caught the gaze of an alien commander across the smoke. Their eyes met. The alien snarled, raising his weapon. Marcus roared, charging straight through the fire, his blade cutting through armor, his rifle blasting point blank. The alien fell, silence crashing in the circle around him. The humans pressed forward, their unity unshakable, their weapons never resting. The aliens faltered, their formation breaking, fear spreading in their ranks. They had expected trembling diplomats, but instead they faced warriors disguised as peacemakers. An alien advisor screamed, fall back, they are not as they seem." But it was too late. The humans had already turned defense into assault. Every step forward claimed new ground. Every shot broke another line. The commander raised his voice, steady and cold. "This was your peace, your trap, but now it is your lesson. Humanity bows to no chains." The words struck deeper than any bullet, even as fire spread. Even as screams filled the chamber, the truth echoed in every corner. Humanity could not be fooled. Humanity could not be broken. From the balconies, whispers spread among alien delegates of other species, their faces pale. If humans can turn a trap into victory, what else can they do? If peace fails to bind them, who in this galaxy can stand against them? The humans reached the throne, weapons raised, smoke swirling around them. The commander planted his boot on the white stone steps, his voice rising above the chaos. "You wanted us disarmed, yet we came armed. You wanted us weak, yet we came strong. Remember this. Every time you plan your lies, humanity will never come unprepared." The words echoed across the chamber, through the smoke, through the screams, through the whispers of fear. The counterattack was complete. The trap had been shattered, and the hunters now bled. The revelation. The battle slowed. Not because it was over, but because fear had settled. Deep into the alien ranks, the once proud guards who had stepped into the chamber with certainty now hesitated, their rifles trembling, their eyes wide. The humans stood in the center of the hall, smoke curling around them, their robes torn, their weapons still hot. Every soldier alive carried wounds, but every soldier still stood, unbroken, unyielding. The alien leader, wounded and bleeding, was dragged forward by his own guards, his voice cracked with fury and disbelief. How could you know? How could you come ready? This was flawless. No one has ever escaped this trap." The human commander stepped closer, his shadow falling over the alien, his voice calm but filled with steel. "Because we are human, and humans have learned through pain. through betrayal, through centuries of lies. Peace without trust is only a weapon, and we do not walk into weapons blind. The translator stepped forward, lifting the treaty papers that still glowed faintly on the white stone table. She raised her voice for all to hear. This was no treaty. It was a contract of chains. It called for Earth to surrender its armies, to hand over its children, to kneel forever to the Council. She tore the glowing sheets in half, the light dying in her hands. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Alien spectators whispered frantically, some furious, some afraid. Their voices rippled like thunder. They tried to enslave humanity. They promised peace, but prepared chains. General Marcus wiped blood from his cheek, his voice a growl. You thought you could fool us with soft words and golden halls, but you forgot one truth. Humanity listens not to promises but to actions, and your actions reek of treachery. The alien leader spat blood, his eyes wild. You will regret this. You have defied the Council. You have doomed yourselves. The commander leaned close, his voice quiet, but sharp enough to cut. No. Today we saved ourselves, and we showed every eye in this chamber that humans will not kneel, not to your peace, not to your traps, not to your threats. From the balconies, alien delegates from other species stood frozen, their faces pale, their voices whispering. If humanity cannot be bound, if they cannot be tricked, then perhaps they cannot be conquered. One alien envoy turned to another, fear in his voice. The Council has awoken something it cannot control. Humanity does not bend, they sharpen. They grow stronger. The hall trembled as explosions echoed in the distance, more alien troops trying to break through, but the human fortress ship outside had locked its weapons onto the station, warning every vessel to keep away. The trap had reversed completely. The commander raised his rifle, firing a single shot into the air. The sound cracked through the hall like thunder, silencing the whispers. Listen well, he said, his voice carrying to every corner. We came for peace, but you gave us betrayal. We leave with survival, and survival is stronger than peace. Remember this when you plan your next lie. The translator's eyes burned with fierce light. Her voice rising, the galaxy sees you now. The galaxy sees that you betrayed the word peace. But it also sees humanity, and it sees that we will not bow. Whispers became roars. The audience of alien delegates scattered, some leaving in anger, others in fear, but all carrying the same truth back to their worlds. Humanity was not naive. Humanity was not weak. General Marcus lowered his rifle, his voice heavy but steady. This was meant to end us. Instead, it has begun something greater. They will never forget today. The alien leader fell silent, his face broken, his eyes empty. The trap had failed, and in its failure, the galaxy had seen the true face of humanity. And in that moment, a new order began to form, not through signatures, not through promises, but through fear and respect. The humans turned toward the exit, their weapons still in hand, the hall behind them filled with smoke and silence. The story of betrayal carved forever into the walls, and, as they stepped into the shadows of the station's corridors, every alien heart trembled, for they knew the truth now. Humanity could not be chained. The new order. The smoke still lingered in the grand hall as the humans marched out, weapons hidden once more beneath torn ceremonial robes, their faces calm, but their eyes burning with fire. Behind them, the once proud banners of the Council lay in ashes, the treaty table shattered, its false promises torn and scattered across the floor. The hall that was built for peace now carried only the memory of betrayal. Alien soldiers stood frozen, their weapons lowered. None dared to attack again. The trap had failed, the prey had bitten harder than the hunters. The human delegation moved down the wide corridors of the station, every step echoing like thunder. Alien servants and guards pressed themselves against the walls, whispering in fear. They came armed, they knew they cannot be broken. The human commander led the way, his voice steady. Hold your heads high. We came as diplomats, but we leave as survivors, and the galaxy now knows what that means. At the docking bay, their ship waited, its steel hull glowing faintly, its hidden cannons ready. No alien vessel dared block its path. Not after the battle that had shaken the Council's heart. General Marcus turned one last time, his scarred face lit by the dying star outside the station's windows. "Remember this sight," he said to his soldiers. "The day they tried to chain us and the day they learned we cannot be chained." The translator, still clutching the torn treaty, whispered, "These papers will become a story, a warning. No one will ever forget." Her voice was quiet, but her words carried the weight of prophecy. As the humans boarded their ship, alien delegates gathered at the balconies above, their voices filled with fear and awe. If peace cannot bind humanity, then war will not destroy them either. They are dangerous. They are unstoppable. The starship roared to life, engines burning like suns. It pulled away from the docking bay, leaving the alien station trembling in silence. Inside the command deck, the human commander stood tall, his eyes on the stars, his voice calm but sharp as steel. Today was not peace, today was a warning, and the galaxy will hear it loud. We do not fear peace, but we will never walk unarmed into lies again. His words carried through the ship, into the hearts of every soldier, every diplomat, and into the memory of Earth itself. As the ship vanished into the dark sea of space, the station remained quiet, its halls echoing with whispers, alien voices spreading the truth. Humanity will not bow. Humanity cannot be fooled. Humanity is a storm that no trap can hold. On distant worlds, the news spread faster than light. Some species trembled, others whispered of rebellion. The Council's reputation shattered like glass. And somewhere in the shadows of the galaxy, hidden eyes watched, whispering, "If peace has failed, then war will come. And when war comes, humanity will be ready." The humans had left the trap behind, but what they carried now was far greater than survival. They carried a message written in fire and blood, a message the galaxy would never forget. The new order had begun, and at its heart stood humanity, unbroken, unyielding, unstoppable.